What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome to Sunday Double Trouble. I missed everyone last night. I was not existent on the Double Trouble last night, but I promise you this, I was still more existing than the defense in the NBA All-Star game, which is, who would ever pay money to go watch this kind of crap?
It's the worst basketball I've ever. It may be the worst All-Star game.
They literally dribble down, jack up a three. The other guy dribbles down, jacks up a three. And you wonder why kids kids that are my son's age, this is what they watch. No wonder they're jacking up threes in league games.
Do you not remember back in the day when it was even Kobe's age? They played defense, dude. I mean,
yes.
And here's the deal. A lot of people say, well, they donate money for charity, whatever. I'm sorry, don't take this the wrong way, but I would rather pay everybody that makes the All-Star game a bonus, and they have to try. Like, maybe they get $100,000 to win the game. I don't care. If you're going to do the game, pay these guys. I want to see mano a mano, Curry versus Dame Lillard. I don't want to see, back when Bird played, Jordan, it wasn't just yank up threes. The three-point contest and the slam dunk contest was last night. I don't need to see it again.
Yeah, hey, new comment graphics.
Yeah, they're sweet.
That, Jay?
They are sweet, aren't they? The white look good, man. Look good. Surgemaniacs are back tonight, boys.
Surgemaniacs back. And hey, Jay, I did notice, and I'll get to Sooner fans really good question that he asked in just a second. But I noticed the Farouk take Jay had last night. And fortunately, I wasn't on the program last night because had I been, I probably would have lost my mind. That was an unbelievable take. I don't want to spend time tonight covering it. But let me go back to Sooner fans' question about the secondary.
What's up, Bobby? How are you tonight?
Jay, what was the I lost the comments.
I think he put his lineup
right
in there.
Would you agree that week one starting secondary should be Williams, Washington, Bowen, and Bowman? Yes. I absolutely would. However, look, you can't go wrong with those four. What we heard Woody Washington say about moving inside opens the door for guys like Jacoby Johnson, Sia Wagner, Seatbelt Vickers. I'm leaving some out. The transfer from San Diego State.
Malone.
So, again, Jay, I'm going to say the same thing I said with the linebacker room. Oh, you should play six to eight guys in the secondary. No chance they shouldn't.
Yeah, Gentry's an interesting one. The guy hasn't really stayed healthy yet, and I don't know what makes you think he will this year. I don't know. And Josiah Wagner to me is another guy that, remember last year, Jeremy, about this time heading into the spring game, everything last year, everybody was high on Josiah Wagner, calling him Pitbull, Jay Valai. I mean, they were so high on him. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there. It sounds like Woody Washington wants to play inside more. What's that going to do to things? What about Kendall Dolby? They used him a lot to blitz. They used him some at Cheetah a little bit in that nickel spot, whatever. He's the guy that came in as a true corner, really, out of JUCO. So I don't know, man.
And then you got other guys who probably will never see the field, but are physical specimens like Jaden
I agree
Rowe.
with Bobby too.
Hey, it's going to be hard to keep Jacoby Johnson off the field with his physicality. And Chester, I know Jason's, and I don't want to speak for you, Jay, but I know that you're probably in agreement a little bit with Chester here as far as Woody Washington 2 seasons ago. I'm in a disagreement here. I think that he's better than most people believe he is because he just doesn't get the ball thrown his way a whole lot. Now, would I like to see other guys coming in there more? You've heard my take, everybody. I would like to see 8 guys rotated in.
Hey, and Mess, this is what I mean too by this, because he was an All-American corner in JUCO, okay? And to me, they used him some off the edge and stuff, or on blitz packages. But I think they have other guys that can do that. If Dolby's really good corner, I'd like to see him at corner. Richard says works with a relative Malone, he might surprise. He is a big guy. Sooner fan. When Woody Washington says inside more, does he mean safety? No, I don't think that's what he means. I think it means instead of covering the outside receiver some, moving into the slot receiver and playing a little more inside. That's what I would think.
Yeah,
Not
that's what I think.
safety.
Stop some of the slant routes early. Yeah,
What's up,
baseball team.
Big Orange
OU
Ball, man.
baseball team looks pretty good. It's very promising.
Yeah. The pitching, that game last night against Tennessee, Big Orange Ball, was a great game going into extras, and then OU getting a win there in the 10th. Tennessee is a great baseball program. They'll be there near the end too. I think it's both OU's pitching's elite. I mean, I'll say it. It's elite. If they can get bats, this team could be outstanding, dude. They can make a run.
Mez says Nickelback is one.
Correct. Correct.
Dalpo,
I would say that too.
Dalpo is 83. Welcome again, as always.
Hey, somebody said they thought Walker graduated. No, he's only like he's got another year.
Maybe I'm interrupting me. I'm going to get ticked tonight.
Hey, Jeremy, why do you always say I interrupt you when I'm talking? Jeez.
Hunter will try to talk some baseball. He follows it a lot. Well, I'm upset because I was at Dalpo's comment, and you got to sit here and interrupt and flash something else on the screen. Anyway, the point that I like and why I said 8 guys, Jay, is we've talked about this before. If I'm, and I don't understand why more teams don't do it. Maybe it's because that's why I'm sitting here talking on a phone with viewers and fans.
You think?
Not coaching on the sideline, but tell me I'm bad. Tell me this is a bad take because I honestly don't think it is. I think it's pretty smart. If I'm a secondary coach, I'm wanting to throw different speeds, different sizes, different techniques at the wide receivers. A physical guy one series, a speedster another. Like, I think alternating sometimes at corner is frowned upon, and I don't know why. Give them a different look. They can't adjust when you're throwing different things out there, in my opinion. Maybe that's a bad take. Maybe that's a bad take, viewers.
Lori says hit the like. That would be awesome if y'all would do that. It's not hard. There's a button. You hit the button, like it. It really helps.
That's Deep Thoughts with Jay. Hey, there's a button, guys. Hit the button. Deep Thoughts with Jay.
Deep Thoughts with Jason. Hit the button. That's correct. Do what Jason says and you'll be in good shape. I'll say that. That's a good motto too. Don't do what Jeremy says. Do what Jason says.
Okay, yeah. And if everyone does what you say, they're going to go bet money that Farouk's going to have a breakout year. What about that one, bud?
He might.
Yeah, don't go bet on that.
You don't know that he won't be. So
I don't know where Tanya's been.
I don't know why you turn everything I say into a blow-up rant. I mean,
I know. That wasn't a blow-up rant. Need to mix up the D-line and let some other kids flourish. They need to mix every position up, and they need to play the 2 deep every single game. Play the 2 deep.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about the defensive line before, and now we've mentioned tonight the secondary. To me, they go hand in hand, really. They do, because you got to have a good pressure on the quarterback, or you're not going to cover anybody. You're not covering the elite receivers in any conference for a long period of time. It's not happening.
Agreed. Jay, what do you think of the guy from Michigan, Saab?
Here's what I think about Keon Saab. I think he's a great player. I do. I think his brother, they already offered him 2026, another guy that's going to be a really good player. He graded out really good in the national championship game with Michigan. He would come in, he would play. My thing is, who is he going to come in for? Because you bring him in, who would leave? There would be people leave. I mean, there would be somebody leave. So I don't know.
Nature of the beast, Jay.
I don't get into the in and outs of all that. I don't. So if BV wants him and they go after him and get him, then I'll say it's a good get and I'll root for him. But I just think at this point, anybody you take out of the portal, you're losing somebody off the team, right?
Well, I mean, that's the nature of the beast. Kenneth says that's why you get 6 foot, 200-pound guys who can play safety and corner. Again, that's my opinion on why you can rotate some guys in the secondary, because it just gives receivers a different look, because you can get used to someone going up against you and maybe adjust. When you're throwing different guys out there, it's harder to do. Steve Stutzman says spring will answer a lot of these questions. Look, that's absolutely right, because the spring game, year in, year out, seems to be even more important than in years past. And this year, with as many early enrollees as OU has, it's going to be very exciting and going to tell some things.
Well, and I mean, if you remember last spring and summer, it was Josiah Wagner on the secondary. We heard a lot about. He did battle some injuries when the season started a little bit, and that was part of the problem with the secondary. I mean, with Gentry fighting injuries, I mean that hurt. But look at a guy like Kendall Dolby. Kendall Dolby played really well, I thought, when he played. And once again, another JUCO guy. I think JUCOs, the JUCO route is kind of gone. You don't see it as often anymore. But man, there's some good players in the JUCO ranks.
OU's done very well.
Yeah.
Craig says Jacoby and Makari Vickers should be ready.
Mark Vickers played last year. He was.
Yeah.
Remember, he got injured too. So
they did fight some injuries in the secondary.
If you remember early on, I would say all the way through. I know it's too late this year, Hunter. I'm not saying this year. I'm just saying in general, Hunter, for JUCO. What I was going to say about Vickers, if you go back, I would say, I'm trying to remember the schedule off the top of my head, but through the TU game, at least through those non-con games, they were rotating quite a bit in the secondary. I mean, Vickers, quite a bit they were rotating in. So, and then he got hurt. Gentry got hurt.
Kanai Walker.
Josiah was, I think, banged up a little bit. And Kanai Walker. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see. They got dudes there. They got players. They got good rotation. Just like they do at linebacker, just like they do at defensive line. I mean, you saw the stat. They returned, I think, 79% on defense or something like that. They lead the SEC in amount of players returning on defense. They got dudes. So I'm excited. I'm pumped to watch it this year on defense.
Yeah, and if Farouk has a big game down post, if you buy it, I'll wear it. How about that?
Hey, and Steven, Steven, someone's writing the
always
bench. Agree. And listen, if you're going to be a national championship or an SEC champion, then you're going to have very, very difficult position battles. And I don't care who you are. If you're a great player, you're still going to have to fight for your role. That's kind of how you want it. You want very hard position battles and nothing handed to anybody that's out there, okay? Because that's how you develop, I think, a team. When you look at teams like Georgia, when guys get injured and the next man up just doesn't have much of a drop-off, that's what you got to have. You got to have that competitive. We've heard the term competitive depth over and over, but I think it's not just 1 year of it. Last year, I think, was the best they've had, competitive depth. But I think you need multiple years of that to really just continue to grow, I think, defensively, offensively, all around.
And again, Farouk might be a major player on the team next year. I'm not saying he won't be. Actually, I have said he won't.
No, what are you talking about?
Let me explain.
Why are you? Here we go. Backtrack Jeremy.
No, I'm not backtracking.
Your nickname's Backtrack Jeremy.
I won't talk. I'm done.
No, go ahead.
I'm not talking. No, I'm not talking.
No, go ahead.
Hey, to actually backtrack, you'd have to have a point. So that's why you can't backtrack, because you're sitting there. You just sit there and straddle everything.
I said my point last.
Anyway,
Farouk, clear. So you aren't on it. That's fine. Move on.
They have too many guys for a fumbling Farouk to be a major player next year.
I agree. If he fumbles, he's not going to be in, man. You can't turn the ball over, period.
They had enough guys this year they had enough guys this past year for a fumbling Farouk to not be a major player. They didn't rotate through him.
Sooner fan says, if Helms is healthy, shouldn't he be the starting tight end? I know we've got some tight end transfers, but none of them were 4-star recruits like Helms was. Well, Devon Mitchell's a 5-star. Yes, he's a freshman, could be a high school senior, but
Bauer Sharp, I'm telling you, Bauer
Sharp, I think is really good.
He's really good, I think.
And then, I think Caden Helms is a talented dude. So to me, out of everybody on the team, he's the guy. I would think Caden Helms right now, in my opinion, is a guy that I'm big time pulling for to get on the field. And I just want to see what he's got. I want to see how he can do, man. Haven't got to see it, and it's been a shame because he was a 4-star recruit. And yes, Hall of Fame college football with Jason and the coach. Thanks for joining tonight. Mitchell is the man. And Devon Mitchell's different, man. He's unbelievable talent. Unbelievable talent. We'll see how quickly he can get on the field, but he is really, really good. And this is another one. We haven't got to him either. Jake the Snake Roberts, another guy that's played football. You can't take experience out of the equation with these guys.
No, and Robbie Martin is a Sooner Surge Unlimited member. Thank you for being that, Robbie, as many others are. Listen, if the D line can be better, everything else is going to be highlighted even more. The linebackers are going to be
clean,
escalated to another level, elevated.
Clean.
The secondary is going to look much better. And they're all OU's very old as far as veteran leadership in some areas. So to me, the defensive line makes the jump. Everything else, guys, is going to be elevated to the next level. And there is when you get maybe, in my opinion, what could be, don't say I'm bad about this, the best defense in the SEC outside of Georgia. So here.
Yeah, I mean, and I see Big Orange Vol says I'm just here to BS little guys and laughing. No beef.
I love having Tennessee on here in Ole Miss. It's great.
I miss the Jackson Arnold? Did I miss the Jackson Arnold comment? Maybe not. I thought I missed. Jake Roberts is the only true blocking and receiving tight end on the roster.
Play two tight ends. That's what I hope.
We'll see. I would kind of agree with that mess. I just think we haven't seen enough from Helms to know. And then Bauer Sharp, I think he's more of a pass catcher than he is a blocker for sure. Yeah, Steve, I agree. I think starting wouldn't shock me right off the bat. I mean,
I don't think he's going to start. I think they're going to go with.
It wouldn't shock me, Jeremy.
It wouldn't shock me. I still think DeJohn Terry, and then I don't know about Grayson Halton. I'm waiting. Like every single offseason, I say, does Grayson Halton this year become that guy? Now, Jay, I'm going to say the same thing I've said at pretty much every position group. I want to see rotation, move, throw guys in there on the D line, multiple snaps, rotate them through, keep them fresh, and attack and be suffocating.
I agree, but we talked about this the other night. You say that, but you're also the guy that's going to be on your couch if they're subbing too much that you're ripping. So, I mean, I think it's got to be.
No, Jay, the reason I was ripping is they would play guys who did nothing and they kept playing them. When they had other guys.
And I think this is a good point. I want to see rotation also, German, until someone separates. Why not? And I agree with that. And especially, listen, look at their schedule. You got to get off to a good start with the back end so brutally, heavily tough games. So you're going to have to see what you got at a lot of different spots, right? For instance, you have an injury pop up in game 3 or 4, and you got to go with that backup. Is he ready? You got to have him ready. You know what I mean? You got to have him ready.
Jay, and Hall of Fame says it's Halton's time. He's been putting on weight and forming muscle. Dude's a stud. Listen, at some point, when you're out of the non-conference schedule, Tennessee's rolling into Norman, Oklahoma, okay? At some point, as the coach, and I'm sure BB knows this, and you got to be able to, okay, I trust all these guys too deep. I trust them all. Because what happens usually, I'm not just saying BB, I'm saying in basketball, you kind of start playing the guys you trust more when it gets in conference. And I get that as a coach. I would get that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
but you got to trust
Blake,
across
I would
the
disagree.
board.
Blake, I would disagree with this. I don't think the subs have been trash on both sides of the ball. Sometimes I think some of the subs should be playing more. I mean, I disagree with that. I mean, for the past 2 years, you also got to realize some of the subs are freshmen, sophomores, still young dudes, man. So I think it takes time. I mean, unless you're just a 5-star ridiculous stud, then I just don't think you can judge it off that, really.
Jay, some of the subs last year.
I was going to get to
some of this. You keep lagging out, dude. Some of the subs.
Sorry, bro.
Last year should have definitely been playing more. So Yes, Farouk at running back was inexcusable.
PJ,
Exactly.
agree. I think PJ, if you look at guys that
PJ
are
should
going to
have
make,
played last year more.
hey, PJ is going to make a big jump this year. I just think he will. I think he's too talented not to. He's been in the system. He's been under Schmitty. I think he makes a massive jump. I do.
Big Orange.
Hey,
Tennessee's
Big
got a
Orange.
very, very good schedule. I think 9-3 is probably worst case for them.
Yeah, their schedule's pretty.
I think they're
For the
going to be a
SEC team, they
9-3
got to.
team.
Hey, Big
And
Orange, are you
this is
making it
right.
down to
Look,
Norman?
hey, under Grinch,
That's a
I'm
great.
sorry, guys. They were soft. And it does take time. It takes a turnover a little bit in some areas. So,
Jaron, there you go. You take that one.
what do? I watch the game and complain the whole time. And listen, I'm not saying that I'm not I don't mind Trace Ford sprinkled in and doing some things. Trace Ford shouldn't be on the Trace Ford, in my opinion. And look, I'm just a fan, so I can say whatever the heck I want. Trace Ford should not be a starter on the DN. And he got as many sacks as I got last year. Okay? So I'm sorry. They've got other dudes, and they brought in Caden Woolard out of the portal. They got PJ Adebore, R. Mason Thomas. They got
Danny
some other
Okoye.
guys. You got Okoye, who's going to be really special. I don't know, man. That's what I'm going to say, Sooner fan. And Steve, I agree with you. Everything we've seen in interviews from him, and we had someone on the podcast on the video about from Jacksonville State. Look, they all said he likes to play a little more man, but even if it wasn't that phrasing, here's the way he worded it. He likes to bring a lot of guys up. They're going to try to put guys up in the box, up against close net, not 10 yards off. So I think that just that saying alone correlates exactly with what BB's style is, which is up in your face, suffocating, smash defense. That's what he wants. Zach Alley is going to help, I think.
And he gives Venables another young mind to really talk about what you want to do defensively. I think, I mean, nothing against Ted Roof. Don't get me wrong, but I think Zach Alley has a drive, okay, to be great, to be a great coach, to keep moving up the ladder. I mean, he's on a trajectory, man. He's been moving on up. Ted Roof, man, I mean, he probably wants to call defenses, and that might be, I don't know. I don't know Ted Roof, but I'm just saying, it just seems like I think Zach Alley, with his youngness, with his kind of relationships with players, I think it's going to be a great thing for them. I do. And I mean, some stuff you heard about Woody wanting to move inside, play a little more inside. I think Zach Alley probably benefits him well too. So, I mean,
hey,
I think it's all good.
Trace isn't bad. Well, Trace was bad last year. I'm just going to say it. He wasn't good. I remember an interception going through his hands, but he didn't make really any. I mean, the play in the end zone that one game was awful. I just think that he wasn't as good as I thought he would be last year. How about that? Maybe he proves me wrong this year. And Jay, the other thing
I will say this. Go ahead.
The other thing about Zach Alley coming in is you also have a veteran at the center of the defense, right? So, in my opinion, really, it's down the center of the defense with Terry, Stutzman, and Bowman. Down the center of the defense, they have veterans in every position. So to me, this is a great year to move to something new, maybe in the staff, because you do have some guys there across the middle of the defense where it's prime importance to kind of lead the way.
Hey, CW Long says, but is Zach really proven? Hey, let me ask you this, CW. Was Ted Roof proven as a play caller?
Jay, was Lincoln Riley proven, but when he started coming to OU? No.
I mean, Lincoln Riley was at East Carolina, okay? Sometimes you have guys that are very, very talented coaches that just haven't got somebody's got to give them their chance, their big chance. Hey, all I got to do is look at his stats where he's been. They've been good everywhere.
They've been really good.
Everywhere. That's not a
Jay,
coincidence, dude. That's not a coincidence.
And Jay, what I just said about a minute ago, let's say, okay, he hasn't been a lot of places. He's young. He's got a veterans group down the middle, and Brent Venables and other staff, look, they know what Zach Alley is like. They've been around him, even Chavis and some other guys. So I think it's a perfect fit. I don't know if you're talking about kickoff time for the Tennessee game, but it better be a night game.
Better first game in the SEC. I want it to
better be a night game.
I want it to be at night too. Tailgate all day. Night game, first game in the SEC. Hall of Fame coach says if he's your starter, that's probably not a good thing. I think he's talking about Ford, but I'm not sure that it's great that Ethan starts either. Okay, but you can't compare the two. Ethan had a way better season than Trace last year. Not even close.
I agree, Jay. I'm more high on Ethan Downs than I am Trace Ford. And I know he was coming off an injury. I get it.
Hey, wait a second, Bobby. Roof been coaching since 1989. I would say that's proven. But what I'm saying is, when has he ever? I mean, go look at other than Clemson. I wouldn't say he was just dominating at places. And
Jay,
even at Clemson, he wasn't calling the defense.
Just because I'm around somewhere for 30 years doesn't mean I'm proven.
I mean, it means you're experienced.
Experienced, yes.
And that's what you say. What are we saying about the Oklahoma offensive line? It's unproven because it's unexperienced. I mean,
it's inexperienced, not unexperienced.
Okay, correct. Every time you correct me, dude, on English. I'm not in the English class tonight. Hey, I graduated. I'm not in the English class.
Good job.
Every night.
Offense needs to control the ball more to keep our defense fresh. Limited 3 and outs doesn't help. I mean, that's true, too. It's complimentary football, one of the most over used words that I've ever heard. But Trace gave us zero containment.
Hey,
I look, everyone knows my thoughts on Trace Ford last year.
Real quick, Bobby, listen, I know what you mean. You don't coach for 30 years and continue to get jobs without success. I'm not saying he's not successful. That's not what I said. I think Zach Alley's way more better fit for Oklahoma. I think he's on a trajectory that a guy's and listen, I'm not saying anything about Ted Roof's work ethic. I just think Zach Alley is on a trajectory to be a great coach one of these days. And I'm not saying Ted Roof can't be a great coach, but I kind of am. I think his day's done. But I think Zach Alley's a great hire, and I'm happy with it. There you go. More hungry. That's a great term, Purple. That's the term I'm looking for.
I like the Zach Alley move. I really like it. And again, nothing against Ted Roof. I think he did some good things. I think he was a great, probably maybe relational, almost grandfather type guy. But in my opinion, Zach Alley is what this team needs. Zach Alley fits BV's mindset on the defensive side of the ball more. And he trusts Zach Alley, even though he's not proven. It's a mini-me of himself, so he can trust him and kind of relinquish some of those duties.
And Roof went to UCF. He'll be good. And
he'll work great with Gus Malzahn. Great
pregame speeches, Hunter said.
His pipes are amazing.
Zach Alley suits BV's defensive style. I mean, I think there's a lot of benefit. And I'm not listen, I'm not sitting here trashing Ted Roof. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm doing. So I think Bobby thinks I'm trashing Ted Roof. I'm not trashing him. I actually like Ted Roof. I just think Zach Alley's a way better fit for Oklahoma and a better coach, personally. I just do.
Especially on the recruiting side, maybe.
That's right.
Hey, trivia
tonight. Hey, before we get to trivia, you see the Fan Stop logo. You see the ticker running across the bottom. You get 10% off your order for the first 3 months when you go to thefanstop.com and use code SURGE. Do it. Get you an Oklahoma shirt every month. Why would you not? You get an Oklahoma shirt every month in the mail. You never leave your couch. It's great. So please go do that. And I think tomorrow is the 19th. You have one more day to order before so you can get the Irish shirt for March. The St. Patty's Day shirt, OU shirt. It's going to be legit. Be a part of it. Do that. Here's the trivia for tonight, Jeremy.
Let's
I
hear
stumped
it.
you on it earlier.
You
Let's see
did.
if I can stump the viewers or how quick they will get this. Tomorrow is February 19th. Something big happened last year on February 19th for OU. What was it? Something big
I
happened.
can't believe I didn't get it, Jay.
OU last year, February 19th. What is it?
Cannot believe I didn't get it.
And we'll have the standings tomorrow. Got about, what, 10 or 11? How many days are in February this year? Not how many days are in February this year? 108 or 28 or?
It was not David Stone commit. He was.
No, not Selman Bros. I'm going to have to give y'all a hint.
No, you're not.
Bobby says, announcement of Love's Field. You're
On the
getting
right
closer,
track.
Sooner fan.
On the right track.
You're on the right track. I'll say that.
Jay, should I give him a hint? I got a good one.
29 in February this month.
I got a good one, Jay. A hint.
Don't give him a hint yet. We gave him a hint with the announcement of Love's Field. Come on, guys. He was on the right track. There it is. Bingo. Michael Hammond. Softball last lost. February 19th last year, they lost to Baylor. There it is. Man, Tyler was right behind there. OU lost to Baylor softball. Good job, Michael Hammond. Way to go. You get the point for the night. Appreciate you.
I am not shaving my beard until OU softball loses.
You're going to shave it when they lose?
In other words, I won't.
You are full of it, dude.
I won't be shaving it. The softball team, 62 straight. Monticelli Guerin pitched a great one today. This team's got 2 tough games coming up on Friday. Mississippi State, Wisconsin. Could be interesting.
Hey, the Hub said it perfect. This is elite comment right here. Ted Roof was fine, and I'm glad he's gone.
You should be a poet, Hub. That's unbelievable. I love the dichotomy of the statements there.
How do you know he's not a poet? Hey, you know what the worst art poetry I've ever seen in my life is the NBA All-Star game. Awful. Jeez.
The All-Star game is
it's the
probably
worst
still going on.
Is it the worst All-Star game there is?
Is that game still going on?
Is it the worst All-Star game there is, NBA?
Well, I don't watch NHL, but
here's the deal.
Baseball's the best. Baseball's by far the best.
Do the 3-point contest. Do the slam dunk.
And go home.
If you're not going to play a game and have any type of anything going on besides people launching the ball from 3 and slamming dunk, which you just watch them do the night before with elite people dunking the ball and shooting it, then don't do it. I don't need to see Paul George jacking up 3. Sorry. Don't need to see it. I don't need to see Luka Doncic and Jokic walking down the court the whole time. It's awful. Either that or pay them $150,000 for a win and have them actually play defense. I'll watch it.
Sooner fan dropping the lyrics here. Rose are red, violets are blue. BV better get OU into the playoff by 2025.
Hey, you can't do that.
Freaking fired. I love the rhyme scheme there, bud. I love it.
No rhyming.
Free verse.
That's not a poem.
Poems can be free verse.
The only poems I know are rhyming.
I remember, Jay, one Valentine Graham you gave a girl once was "Be Mine, You're Fine."
And it worked. And it worked.
No.
Yes, it did.
How did it work?
Be mine, you're fine. And she went out with me. So that's all it needed.
You didn't have a date till you're out of college.
Whatever, dude.
I agree. I'm the same way. I didn't date till I was out of college. But you didn't date that girl in high school.
Be mine, you're fine. Should have used it this year. Somebody should have. Hey.
Wait. Jay.
Poems have to rhyme, dude, or they're not poems.
No,
Sorry.
You don't know poetry. You can't even speak English sometimes.
No.
Grammatically correct.
Poetry. No. You can have poetry that doesn't rhyme, but a poem rhymes.
A poem?
Yeah.
It's poem.
Okay, a poem.
Poem? Jeez. How are we related, man?
I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't know how I'm related.
And listen, Stephen, you're correct with your take here.
If you say listen one more time, I'm going to lose it.
You're correct, but you're incorrect. Emmett Jones on the offensive side, Zach Alley defense, but you're also leaving out a guy by the name of Brandon Hall, who's been unbelievable recruiting for OU. And hey, Mez, Wait, Mez, neither one of us did.
Hey,
And
move on
I'm
past that. I don't
happily
need to talk about
married.
my dating life.
I had no
My
heartbreak.
dating life.
Hey, no heartbreak in high school. Okay? Okay?
Also,
Okay?
didn't waste any money
Happily
either.
married. Worked out for me.
Hey,
But
Hall
yes,
is killing it.
We didn't go out.
Hey, Hall is killing it, but
Killing it. Wait, Jay. Go ahead, Jay.
No, you go ahead.
You got it, Jay.
You're
getting mad at me.
No,
I
you're
was just
good.
gonna say this is why I want Brandon Hall to be the special teams coach too.
Well, that's exactly that was my point. Going to be is they got rid of Nunez. He's gone, or not rid of him. He left, but they're not going to replace him. I don't think so. They're going to give it to a coach already on staff, probably. Right? I mean, I would think that's probably what they're going to do.
And
Who's
I would
it
love
going to be?
Brandon Hall raise his pay a little.
Yeah, we'll see.
What did Austin say? Because I missed it. Oh, roses are red. Rhyming is hard. Texas had 4 tries and couldn't get a yard.
Wow!
There it is.
Give him a point for trivia tonight. That's amazing. Hey, everybody drop their best poem in here tonight. I want to see it. Give me some good poems tonight.
Oh,
did I get it right, Jeremy? Poem? Jeremy, you're an English teacher. You should be able to spout one out right now. Let me hear it.
Jay, let me talk.
No, I want to hear your poem. I want to hear a poem right now. Give me a poem about Farouk right now. Jalil.
Let me think of one. How about that?
Jalil Farouk. Let's hear a poem, Jeremy, here in a minute.
Okay,
Jay says, I dreamt of seeing Boomer and Sooner being saddling in the tunnel. Golly. Moving on.
Jeez. Zach Alley, more man, less zone coverage. Yeah.
That probably.
I'm in. Though. I'm all in. That goal line stand against Texas was unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I need a Jalil Farouk poem, huh?
Yeah, you do.
Rose are red. I need some sleep. I got the play call from Levy. Another jet sweep. Wow, Austin Lynch.
Man, Austin, are you a poet? Seriously.
Sooner fan dropping a little poem here. High hopes in Norman. Coach V better do something. Playoff by 2025.
He's wanting you to fill in the blanks. He's wanting you to fill in the blanks. Hey, Big Orange. It was a good weekend. Opening weekend for Oklahoma, Tennessee.
That's OU's home away from home there.
That's right. Hey, OU haiku, Sooner fan says. What's a haiku? I thought a haiku was where, let me see if I know this. A haiku is if like you took the word Bob and the first letter B, you just did something like be aware. O is like outside.
No, that's an acrostic poem, Jay.
Oh, that's a poem too?
Acrostic, yes.
What's a haiku?
5, 7, 5 lines. 5 words, 7 words, 5 words.
Yeah, there it is. Sooner fan said it.
There's also a Sin Kane and Diamante poem. Those are good too. Yeah, syllables. I don't know. What did I said that right? Hey, Sooner fans took
What does this mean? I wish I didn't know what a haiku was. I don't remember what a haiku was until they just explained it to me. So, Jeremy, you got your Jalil Farouk?
I got 2 lines. Sooner fans took tumble when Jalil Farouk fumbled. Let me get the rest of it. Give me time to write one. My goodness, I'm trying to read comments.
These guys have Austin's dropped 3, Jeremy. You're an English teacher. It's your career.
No, my career is not writing poetry, dude. I'm not a poet.
What is your career? English.
I teach English, Jay.
Okay.
Poetry's a little snippet of it, okay? Yeah, and listen, Copenhagen. When Deshaun McCullough and Bowman, when they tackled him, I think it was McCullough, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
On the face mask, but he was already down. I know it still could have been called.
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, he wasn't in. They're whining, man. Texas, you heard.
Jay, if they want to be mad about one call,
Mike said.
What is?
What?
Oh, I like Monty's, Jay. Rose are red. You don't need the apostrophe there, Monty. Rose are red. SEC is awesome. Sooner surge about to blossom. Love it.
Wow, that's legit, Monty. Monty, love it. Bobby says when the fruit fumbles, he doesn't even mumble.
Lori, no, the girls were not after us, okay? Girls were not after us.
I was a nerd, and I'm still a nerd. I didn't even realize my camera was off. Jeez.
Yeah, the whole time.
Was it better with it off?
Yeah, you're
Bowman
right.
on fourth down, I know he was down. Yeah.
It's crazy they complain about that. They really, if you want to complain about one call as a Texas fan, it was when Ethan Downs stood over Quinn Ewers.
Oh, that was awful.
That could have been called.
But you still have Big 12. That's one of the reasons I'm so happy to get out of that stupid league.
Purple Orca,
bunch of weak referees, man. As far as
Purple
calling
Orca.
stuff.
I got 3 sons. Traber, named after Jim Traber. Sawyer J, named after the kid in Blind Side and Dolphin Tail.
Wait, not after Tom Sawyer?
No, not Tom Sawyer. My 3rd son, named after Jonas. His name is Jonas from The Giver. And if I were to have another son, his name would have been Atticus, because I love To Kill a Mockingbird. So how about that?
Wow, 4 boys, huh? You're going to have 4s.
No, I'm not. I'm not making an announcement. Gee. It wouldn't be on the Sooner Surge if I made an announcement. But Atticus, love Atticus Finch. Stood for everything that's right.
That's right, Michael. They couldn't get the stop when they needed to.
All they had to do was stop DG.
They fear Oklahoma, okay? Yeah, front of the shoulder pad, it showed it on the replay. That's right. Boring Brook and movie. Hey, we talked about this 405, boy. The Texas game, yes, that's a huge game. But the Ole Miss game, the Missouri game are such
bigger
swing games. They're games you have to somehow split those two, I think. Don't you?
I agree. And Mez.
Yeah. Why did you?
Mez, we grew up, we listened to the Sports Animal growing up. I loved listening to sports radio. And I told my wife that, man, Traver would be a cool first name because I've never heard the first name Traver. Sure enough, I've never seen anyone with that name. So that's pretty cool.
Hey.
Yes, he is a poke.
Hey, Auburn could be a sneaky game. It's your first SEC road game. I agree. That game's going to be, I think a lot of people just pencil it in as a for sure win. I don't know. And I would kind of agree with CW Long here. I think they're a paper tiger as well. What was it? Oh, this question, Dow Post, great question. When will we know about Harrington? With the NCAA involved, who knows? Seriously,
no telling.
Who knows? I don't know.
I think Missouri is definitely a paper tiger.
Alan Bowman gets his thing, though, and he's back. Can't figure out on Harrington.
Big Orange Bowl, I'm very look, I'm more concerned about the LSU game than I am Missouri as an OU fan.
Really?
I think the road atmosphere, LSU last game of the year, there could be a heck of a lot riding on that game. So I don't know.
Mizzou is mid. I mean, I think it's also too because OU is very familiar with Missouri from past, and they have that rivalry, and OU pretty much dominated them. Whereas LSU is kind of, I mean, you think of the 2 biggest games in OU's versus LSU, those were the worst.
Kim says Texas has to play Georgia right after OU game. They could drop both. And hey, let me say this, Jay, that in my opinion, how about OU this year? How about don't lose to South Carolina, and Tennessee's another one, Jay. Tennessee's one that everyone's penciling in as a win, but those are games that OU struggle with. And my wife wouldn't let me name my second
you possibly have the best young quarterback matchup of the year in the SEC. Jackson Arnold and Nico from Tennessee.
For sure. It's the future of the SEC right there.
Yeah, that's going to be a great – I'm looking forward to seeing him play. I think that's going to be a great matchup at your first SEC game. I'm excited about watching that one.
Oh, for sure. And a line. I mean, Tennessee's line is going to be key for them.
Yeah.
But it's got to be a night game. And
you got Heupel coming back. You got Hype back. Hey, real quick, let's end it on this note, I think, tonight. Quarterback matchups with Jackson Arnold. You look at the top 3 quarterback matchups this year with OU. And for the defense, I think the 3 toughest quarterbacks they're going to face. I think You may disagree with this. I think Milroe is one of them just because I think he can run. I think, Jeremy, I know you're shaking your head. That's fine. Okay. Dart is another one. Dart, and then, I mean, probably you would have to say Quinn Ewers, I think. I mean, Nico's there too, but listen,
Quinn Ewers
I think
is the best of the four that you said.
I think, but OU's played good against Ewers. So
here's why I'm not scared of Milroe anymore. In my opinion, he lost. What would make him scary would be a Grubb and the new offensive coordinator stuff. Look, I don't know what they're going to do. That's going to put a damper on things for him.
Yeah, Quinn Ewers has a
ceiling. Has
he
hit the ceiling? That's the question.
I would agree with that, and the fact that
can't stay healthy either,
and not being able to really run a ton, I think hurts you. I mean, guys like Milroe that can run, Nico can move. Mess. I know he's not a passing threat. He is, but not. I think he's a passing threat down the field. But what I think he's not very good at is reading defenses.
Yeah, he can't read defenses.
I think OU can confuse him.
Yeah. Let's say it one more time, guys.
That's true. Ty Thompson's a good one too.
Hey, who here is a member of the Shirt of the Month Club? If you're not, check out the Fan Stop. Subscribe to that. Use code SURGE for 10% off your first 3 months. If you want the Irish shirt, you got to do it by the next 2 days. Also, join Sooner Surge Unlimited.
Yeah, big
well
time.
Worth it. As we get closer to the season, it'll really be worth it. I have a very hard time, Bobby, thinking Jackson Dart is the face and best quarterback in the SEC. If that's the case, if that's the case, then there's a reason the SEC is always the lead at defense because there's not any good quarterback.
Who is though?
I think right now, I guess it would have to be Ewers. They're in the playoff.
Ewers
over Dart?
I would pick him over Dart too, but I have a tough time saying he's the face of the SEC and quarterback too. What about Beck?
Yeah, he's probably with Ewers.
Hey, Copenhagen, I'm going to end it with this on my last comment. South Carolina freaks me out because OU fans are saying it's a guaranteed win. Well, Copenhagen, if they don't beat South Carolina at home, it's going to be a long season. Let me just say that. You got to beat South Carolina at home. That should be a win. If you can't beat them at home, this could be a long year because South Carolina is not one of the tougher teams you play in the conference.
No, that's embarrassing. And look, I'll end it with this, guys. You know who I think is going to be the face of the SEC next year? There it is, Jackson Arnold, period. Because there isn't really one that's dominant. I think Jackson Arnold's going to be him. So we'll see it next year. That's my take. Jackson Arnold is exactly who I thought he was. He's going to be elite. As Denny Green would say, love Denny Green. He is who we thought he was. And in this case, it's an elite Heisman contending quarterback. I cannot wait for the SEC. Hey. Okay, Purple Orca.
Hey, you know what I noticed?
Get off here. Now I got to respond to this.
Listen, every time before we're getting ready to close, the Surgemaniacs, that's a new name for y'all. That's what everybody's calling y'all now. The Surgemaniacs, y'all know when we're getting ready to close this thing, and you always drop something that's going to cause a rant. Every time. You knew Jeremy's going to go off on this, Purple. I see what you're doing. I see it.
Purple, you're right, actually. I think May or June, the NCAA college football game will come out. And if you want Gabriel to win the Heisman in your game, I guess play a season with him. But Dylan Gabriel will never win a Heisman Trophy in college football, and he's not going to lead Oregon Ducks to a playoff national championship. Anyway, till that's my take. Jackson Arnold will be the face of the SEC next season. See y'all tomorrow night.
Appreciate you guys.
Boomer.
Sooner.